So lately I've noticed that my subscriber growth has been starting to level off and my videos haven't been getting as many views. So I put my genius mind to work to see if I can brainstorm more ways that I could attract viewers to my channel. I then remembered that back in December I made a video on this Antifa kid, and it got a lot of views. This was a perfect reminder for me that people love to hate stuff more than they like to like stuff. So I decided today, instead of criticizing the Antifa, let's criticize vegans. Now for the record, if you're a vegan, I don't have a problem with you. It's your lifestyle, I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life. What I do have a problem with are people who force their views upon others. And this is what this guy, that we're gonna be looking at today, does. Ladies, gentlemen, and attack helicopters, brace yourself for Hudson Tarlow.
Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Hudson, and today I'm going to be talking about why vegans should promote an abolitionist message.
I can already tell I'm not gonna like this.
Now, in our movement for animal rights, a lot of people advocate for baby steps. They say that we should let people come to veganism on their own terms. We don't want to come off as extreme, as pushy.
No, that would be too logical.
And I understand where this mindset comes from, because when I first became an animal rights activist, when I first started speaking up for animals, that was the approach that I had too. But after doing activism, and now that I've been an animal rights activist for almost 2 years, what I have come to the conclusion is that if we want to effectively promote veganism, if we want to create a world one day where animals are no longer exploited, we have to start by promoting an abolitionist approach.
An abolitionist approach? I'm no history buff, but isn't that what Hitler did?
The first reason why I believe we as vegans should promote an abolitionist message when talking about animal rights and veganism is simply due to logical consistency. If we want to be logically consistent with our morals, it's the only way to do so. Because when applied to any other injustice, racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, child abuse, and any of these forms of oppression, we would never advocate for this immoral action to be done less.
Did this guy seriously just compare eating meat to racism, sexism, and child abuse? Bruh.
So we never tell a racist to gradually cut down on racism and eventually they become a non-racist. We'd never say, hey, you shouldn't be abusing your children, but if you're addicted to it, I know what it's like, so maybe just cut down on the weekends. Go child abuse free Mondays.
Monday isn't a weekend.
Doing an immoral action less doesn't make it any more moral to perform that action when you are performing it.
Doing something nature intended us to do isn't immoral.
So because of that, when it comes to animals, when it comes to the message of animal rights, given our values, if we believe that an immoral action is immoral, if it's never justified to participate in racism, only if it's 1 day a week, or child abuse, only if it's 1 day a month, then why is it different with animals?
Because animals aren't humans. You're giving a completely unfair comparison. Yeah, a married couple shouldn't be abusing each other because the idea is that they're supposed to be in love. Meanwhile, it's completely natural for us to eat animals.
So, to be morally consistent with our beliefs, we should be promoting an abolitionist approach. And contrary to what most people believe, that veganism isn't taken seriously because vegans are too aggressive and too extreme.
Yes, they are! Have you seen PETA?
I believe that the reason the vegan movement is not taken seriously is because we have not been promoting it as a true justice issue.
You've been promoting it as if it's the only way people should live.
When it came to all of these other issues of the past, the civil rights movement, they are promoting an abolitionist approach because they said, this is an injustice. You cannot justify oppressing us. So we are going to fight for our rights from an abolitionist perspective. And in the vegan movement, we tend to not do that. We tend to tell people to take baby steps, to just consume animal products less, to just exploit animals less. And because of that, people are going to take it less seriously.
Because people have better things to worry about than if they're eating meat or not.
I mean, if I wasn't vegan and I started hearing about the vegan movement and someone told me, well, you only have to go 50% on a plant-based diet, you can still consume products that come from this injustice, then I wouldn't take it very seriously. I would be like, okay, well, the injustice clearly isn't that big if I can just reduce, and that's all I need to do.
Not only is the injustice not that big, It isn't an injustice at all.
And in my experience over the past 2 years doing outreach on the streets, talking to non-vegans, trying to convince them to stop exploiting animals and live vegan, I found that every time I've promoted the message of baby steps and eating less animal products, it's never worked. They've never actually reduced.
Because meat tastes good. You can't change that.
Because in a lot of these conversations, if I have a really good conversation, I'll exchange Instagrams with these people, I'll exchange Facebooks with these people, I'll tell them about my YouTube, and we'll follow each other on social medias if it's a really good conversation. And for many months when I was promoting the message on the streets of eating less animal products and moving more towards a plant-based diet, when I would connect with these people on social media and I'd watch their Instagram stories and look at their Instagram posts, they would never actually eat less animal products. I'd look on their stories and every day they're eating animal products, and clearly nothing had changed because I was just promoting this message that we should be doing it less. You should be moving towards a vegan lifestyle, but nobody really took it seriously when I was doing that.
You know what would be funny? I mean, this probably didn't happen, but you know what would be funny is if those people who he had exchanged social medias with were intentionally showing themselves eating meat just to troll him. If that's the case, that is hilarious.
Then, when I switched to doing an abolitionist approach in my outreach and started connecting with people on social media, almost everybody that I connected with went vegan and said that I'm never going to consume animal products again. But if they didn't, they actually reduced in that situation. I remember one conversation in particular.
Okay, let's speed things up here. Guy never stops talking, sheesh.
So he knew that he had to go vegan if he wanted to be more consistent. And then he posted on his Instagram story later that day how he was really impacted by a
Okay, you know what? This video's starting to get bland and repetitive, just like veganism. So, let's show a different video. This one's called The Truth About Christmas. I mean, if you ask me, the only truth about Christmas is that it's the most milked holiday. Oh wait, this guy's vegan, he wouldn't want me mentioning milk.
Today is Christmas. For us as humans, it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the time to give back towards others. It's the time when people take off work, when people give the waiters and waitresses extra bonus tips. Yet for the majority of beings on this planet, Christmas is a living nightmare, and it is the most violent day of the year. Because while us as humans can celebrate with friends, family, and loved ones, when we sit down at the table and dine on the flesh of an innocent animal, such as a turkey, such as a pig when we eat a ham roast, for us, we celebrate joy and unity, but for the victims, non-human animals, they celebrate nothing but violence, death, enslavement, and torture.
This guy realizes that animals kill each other in the wild, right? I mean, it's perfectly natural that we would kill animals, especially since animals kill each other.
We are celebrating compassion and unity while tearing away the liberty and the life of other beings.
It's called the food chain. And who cares? It's an animal.
We've been raised in the world where the exploitation of animals is so trivialized that when we sit down around the dead body of another being, we don't view it as a funeral. We view it as a feast.
Because it is a feast. I mean, damn, there's a succulent turkey sitting right there waiting to be devoured. And damn, that turkey looks good. Can't you just imagine eating that with a side of cranberry sauce? Mmm.
I understand. It's hard to be on your own. It's hard to stand up against the status quo and say, you know what? I'm gonna go against this tradition of eating dead animals and their secretions that has been normalized for so many hundreds of years.
Because it's normal for us to eat meat. If you want to be vegan, that's fine, but don't say it's not normal to eat meat.
But imagine if you were in the victim's position. If you were one of those pigs, being thrown into a gas chamber, having your dead body cut up into 1,000 pieces and having it turned into a ham roast. If you were one of those turkeys, having your head sliced open just so your dead body could be put on a centerpiece of a dinner.
Well, I mean, it's not like the turkeys or pigs know why they're dying. And it's not like they're gonna remember they were alive. Yeah, it sucks they have to die, but at the end of the day, it's nature.
And while this may seem tough, what's infinitely times more painful is sacrificing your own values to conform into the societal norm of violence and brutality.
Who said anything about societal norms? I just eat meat because it tastes good. I really don't care that the rest of the society already eats meat. Basically, what I'm saying is the reason people eat meat is not to fit in, but because they enjoy it.
Because if you take a stand at this injustice and you say, you know what, I'm not gonna participate in it, for once you'll be following your own values. You'll stop following this accidental life and you'll start living on purpose, saying, you know what, I'm against animal abuse, so I'm gonna show it at the dinner table by not choosing the dead flesh and secretions of other animals. I'm gonna live on purpose and eat a plant-based option.
Injustice? Really? You're describing this as injustice? If it was unjust, the animals would have a way of defending themselves, but they don't, and that must be for a reason.
Because this is discrimination at its finest. We're showing respect and compassion towards humans at the expense of torturing and mutilating non-human animals.
Discrimination. By that logic, every animal that eats meat, like say lions for example, are discriminating against other species? The mental gymnastics these guys do to try and defend their point is insane.
If we're taught from a young age at the Christmas dinner table, hey, don't worry about this dead body, you should be celebrating this dead body of a turkey. Who cares that this turkey was stabbed to death? Who cares that this pig was thrown into a gas chamber? We want to eat a Christmas feast. It's not a far stretch to go to discriminating against humans and saying, hey, who cares about this person of this skin color? Who cares about this person of this race? Because we are more important. It's the superiority that is the same in both cases, whether it's speciesism, racism, or whatever the injustice is.
No, don't try to compare animals to race, because Zootopia already did that.
So this holiday season, I invite you to take a stance against the brutality and bloodshed of innocent animals by choosing vegan this holiday season and making 2020 the decade in which you no longer pay for animals to be abused.
No, I don't think I will. Before I go, I just have one question for you, Mr. Tarlow. If animals weren't meant to be eaten, why are they made out of food?